Singapore has emerged as one of the world's most prosperous countries. It's a financial center, an achievement in urban planning, and a model for developing nations. It's also one of the world's most popular travel destinations. Hello referrers, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be looking at Singapore. Singapore is a fun, multicultural country. It's officially referred to as the Republic of Singapore, which is known as the Lion City. Singapore is known for many things: innovative architecture, cutting-edge skyscrapers, peaceful coexisting multicultural citizens, mouth-watering cuisine, and of course, being immaculately clean and organized. It might surprise you to learn that Singapore is also known for numerous funny things, and the country is filled with interesting and quirky facts. It's a city not just on one island, but 64. You might not know, but Singapore's land area includes as many as 64 offshore islands that surround the main island. This includes Sentosa and havens for nature lovers like Pulau Ubin, St. John's Island, and many more. The main island is 42 kilometers long and 23 kilometers wide and has a total land area of just 683 square kilometers. Singapore was founded by the British. Singapore, which was then called Singapura, did exist but was only a big deal long ago. Iskandar Shah, the last king of Singapura, fled in the late 14th century after being attacked. There's evidence to suggest that the whole place was abandoned. It was nothing more than a small-time trading outpost when Sir Stamford Raffles rocked up in 1819 and established Fort Canning. The rest is history. Singapore is one of only 3 surviving city-states in the world. Singapore doesn't have a capital since it's a city-state, which means it's a country that is literally just a city. The other two are San Marino and the Vatican City. Singapore has changed its time zone multiple times. Since 1905, Singapore has changed its time zone 6 times. Presently, its time zone is 8 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time, just so that it could be in sync with Malaysia. But it's still technically incorrect. Singapore should actually be 7 hours and 30 minutes ahead of the Greenwich Mean Time. The Lion City may have actually been inspired by a tiger. You may have heard about the Merlion, which is Singapore's iconic emblem. The Merlion is a mythical creature with a lion's head and a fish's tail. What you might not know is that the Merlion was partly inspired by the city's ancient name, Singapura, which means Lion City. The origins of the Sanskrit name are attributed to the Sumatran prince Sang Nila Uttama, who ruled Temasek, which was a settlement on Singapura Island during the early 14th century. While hunting for animals, the prince spotted a strange creature moving quickly, which was identified as a lion by his advisors. However, there are no records of lions native to Singapore. It might have been a tiger that he saw, for tigers used to be found in the wild in Singapore up until the 1930s. The symbol of Singapore is the Merlion, a creature that is half lion and half fish. While it's Singapore's symbol and official mascot, it isn't a real creature. It was designed by British ichthyologist Fraser-Brunner in 1964 for the Singapore Tourism Board. The fish represents Singapore's humble beginnings as fish village called Temasek, later renamed Singapura or Lion City, thus explaining the lion's head. It's one of the world's greenest cities. The city of skyscrapers is also one that is filled with lush greenery. Nearly half of Singapore's land area, approximately 700 square kilometers, is under green cover. Beyond numerous parks and gardens, there are pockets of undiscovered plant life housed in the most unusual of places. Singapore is also referred to as the Garden City. You may think of Singapore as a skyscraper-ridden megacity, but that's not true. Singapore is dedicated to greening efforts and recognizable for its tree-lined streets, an increasing number of rooftop gardens, and green buildings overflowing with tropical plants. Gardens by the Bay boasts the largest glass greenhouse in the world. A very cool nature park taking about 101 hectares of reclaimed land, the waterfront gardens by the bay comprises of 3 gardens. Bay South Garden, Bay East Garden, and the Bay Central Garden. The largest by far is the 54-hectare Bay South Garden, which contains the Flower Dome, which is the largest glass greenhouse in the world. It's a city of man-made waterfalls. According to the Mandai Wildlife Reserve, the first man-made waterfall was built at Jurong Bird Park in 1971. Dropping from a height of 30 meters, it is said to be the tallest waterfall in an aviary to date. Other man-made summits to explore include Cloud Forest and Gardens by the Bay. This huge 35-meter waterfall is the centerpiece of the Misty Conservatory designed to house plant life from the tropical highlands. Singapore is a home to a UNESCO World Heritage Site and some unique VIPs. Lauded as the UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2015, the Singapore Botanic Gardens has a history of over 150 years since its founding in 1859. That's more than a century older than modern Singapore itself. Its most popular attraction is the National Orchid Garden, which houses thousands of orchid species known as very important plants. Over 200 hybrid orchids in the garden have been affectionately named after visiting foreign dignitaries such as Nelson Mandela, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and celebrities like Jackie Chan, Zhao Xun, and Bae Young-joon. Singapore has its own dialect. Singapore is awash with different languages. The 4 official languages are English, Chinese, Malay, and Tamil. Though most Singaporeans can speak at least one, a dialect that blends all of them together has popped up over the years, known as Singlish. Singlish is a pretty complicated English-based dialect that involves ending sentences with la for emphasis. Singapore pioneered the first F1 night race. Held annually since 2008, Grand Prix season Singapore features a gamut of concerts, racing and entertainment activities for Formula One fans and visitors of all ages. The star event, the Formula One Singapore Grand Prix, also made racing history as the world's first ever Formula One night race. The twisty Marina Bay street circuit has largely remained unchanged in the years since. The track's brightly lit floodlights also add to the spectacular night views of Singapore. According to the Formula One, the Marina Bay street circuit also boasts more corners than any other circuit on the Formula One race calendar. The World Toilet Organization was formed on November 19, 2001 in Singapore. Going right in with one of the most left-field facts about Singapore. Back in 2001, the toilet-passionate city-state proposed making November 19th as the World Toilet Day. 122 countries backed the idea, and the World Toilet Organization began. It's actually a bracing idea aiming to solve the world sanitization crisis by providing clean, safe toilets for everybody. Singapore has compulsory military conscription for 1 to 2 years. That's right, it's a fact about Singapore that this country is pretty paranoid about its neighbors. Well, it seems that way. So on March 15, 1967, national service was made compulsory for all male 18-year-old Singapore citizens and permanent residents. The entire national anthem is printed on the back of 1,000 Singaporean dollar note in microprint. This is one of our favorite facts about Singapore. Banknotes in Singapore feature a whole lot of microtext, words that you can barely read. Most notes just say Monetary Authority of Singapore into infinity. The $1,000 Singaporean bill, however, has the entire Singaporean national anthem on the back in the microtext. Singapore is the home to the best airport in the world. One of the funniest facts about Singapore is that Changi Airport is currently ranked as the world's best airport. Not only that, but it has won this accolade for the 7th year running since 2013. It's honestly insane. Singapore spent about $500 million in 2019 on renovations that also included a trampoline, a giant slide, an indoor forest, the world's tallest indoor waterfall, a cinema, and a swimming pool. The tagline makes sense, more than just an airport. It's home to the world's first night zoo. Singapore's night safari provides a nocturnal experience like no other in the city. It's also the world's very first night zoo. Opened in 1994, the 35-hectare park features over 1,000 animals from 120 different species living in their naturalistic nighttime environments. That's it for this video. Let us know which fact caught your attention in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you in the next one.